4,185 miles long, and it runs from Georgia to Maine. It goes through 13 states, and the amount that you climb and descend during your hike is equivalent to climbing Mount Everest 16 times. Now, I was hiking completely alone, but my parents were following on the roads in this truck camper. This was nicknamed the Chipmobile because I'm Chipmunk, that's Mama Chip, and that's Papa Chip. And we had a little dog with us, a little French bulldog who was nicknamed Chocolate Chip. So my parents would be going along the road in this, and at night I would hike as far as I could to where a road might cross the trail, and I would sleep in the camper. And if I couldn't sleep in the camper, I had to stay in a tent, or I had to stay in one of the shelters that were along the Appalachian Trail. And those were little 3-wall shelters, and they could fit usually 6 to 12 people, and everyone would put their sleeping bags in, and it was all very tight, and because thru hikers can't shower very often, it was often quite smelly. So this is a day late in my hike in Maine, and as you can see, the leaves have all fallen down, making the trail quite slippery. Here's a little stream here, and a lot of times they would have just little wooden planks here that people who maintained the trail and who helped to make the hiking a little easier would put down. But sometimes they wouldn't have little bridges over streams or bridges over large rivers either. Sometimes you'd have to roll up your pants and just walk through them. And that was quite cold in October. And sometimes the trail wasn't very scenic. This is me hiking along a road. This is also in Maine. It's a nicer day out. That's my pack, which you can see right there too. And there were times when I would walk through the middle of towns, through the middle of forests, and across mountain ridges, and just anywhere and everywhere. The trail would get to the other side in the most direct way possible. So I even had to hike at night sometimes because I only had so much time where the weather was still good, where I could still hike without freezing. I had to hike at night to do larger miles. So often I would get up at around 5 in the morning. I would put on all my hiking clothes, get my pack ready. My parents would help me get all my stuff together. Put jacket on, get a headlamp, which I can show you here. I had to use this flashlight, and because I couldn't actually carry a flashlight, I had to strap a headlamp on so that I could see my way through the darkness without holding a flashlight because I had to hold my hiking poles. And of course, I had a little keychain on my belt of my favorite band member, Niall Horan.
From what band?
From One Direction.
Johnny! I know Johnny does.
And he followed me the whole way. He was on my belt loop. Now, because we were hiking, we didn't have all of the comforts of home. And there were a few towns that were along the trail, and hikers would have to get rides into town from trail angels, which are people who offer rides and offer trail magic, which is free food and free drinks to hikers, or even offer them to stay at their house. And they'd have to get rides into towns, and they'd have to get showers at places like the YMCA, because there wasn't, showers, food, everything like that available on the trail. And we'd have to pack food in our packs, and we just have to get on with life without a home. And our home was on our back. Now, here's a day. I think this is in Maine, wearing a bright orange cap to keep the hunters away. I think they're afraid of orange. And this is a large river, and I had to hop across the river on these stones. So I had to walk across on those. And I was a little known for trying to hop across the river on the stones, but falling off into the water. I thought I was a bit better than I was. Now, as I said, the trail will go anywhere. This is going right through the middle of Dartmouth campus in New Hampshire. Yeah, and it goes right through the middle of town, and you have to walk down the sidewalk, and then you get to the other end of town, and you go right back into the woods. So this is me crossing the street on the Dartmouth College campus. This is a friend that I made. Now, a lot of people ask me if there were people my age on the hike, and this is the only other person I found that was my age. She's 15, and she didn't actually complete the trail. She did 1,300 miles of the trail with her family. This is her family. Now, age should not restrict you. Just remember that, because that is High Five, and he is 5 years old. That is Tutu, and she's 13, and that's their mother, and they all went hiking as a family. It started out with 4 children, but his twin decided to get off the trail. So it was a whole family hiking together, and they